When did he join?
Oh
No,
wow,
no,
Alpha's here.
Oh, it's here. It's here. I was here. I
Discord
was here.
server side.
I was here. I was here.
Peace, peace,
I
Alpha.
was here. Yeah, peace, peace. I was here. What's up?
What's going
Okay.
on, Alpha?
Yeah,
You
we
want to have a
actually.
discussion?
Yeah, I just want to preface the discussion by saying we keep finding more stuff, man. This is a big blessing from God.
Yeah,
We
praise
keep
God.
finding more stuff. Every day we're finding more stuff.
Yeah. This last
But
one is a big one, I reckon.
but don't
Very
worry.
big one. God bless
Hey,
both
but don't worry. AAA has 489. And Peter has no verses. Has Peter given any verses? Yeah, what's up?
Yes. My preface to this discussion is very simple. You mute me, Saeed doesn't get to interrupt me, and I'll leave whenever I want to leave. And also, you recorded the last discussion, that's great.
What with you?
Okay. Yeah, we did. Praise God. We're gonna record this one, God willing. So
So
that's
you did
wonderful.
record the last discussion, but why didn't you warn me about this though? You generally warn people when you record them, right? Don't you?
It's VC1. VC1's public sphere. If you're debating, you can expect to be
Oh, yeah,
recorded.
but you're not recording 24/7, are you?
No,
No.
but we record events
When
like
you're
debates.
recording, you generally warn people, but you didn't that time.
Okay, well, I apologize if you weren't properly warned this
Can you
time
tell
around.
Jonathan to take down the video of him recording me?
Ouch.
Wait a minute. Was I speaking to you, Mr. Fahmi?
Yeah, so he's pointing at the hypocrisy.
Alpha, calm down, bro.
I did not think
Calm
you were
down, bro.
speaking to you, Mr.
I'm telling
All right,
you.
bro. All right.
I'm telling you, dude.
He doesn't listen.
Calm down, Alpha. Calm down.
Hey, Say,
Calm down.
let's be honest.
Are you going to mute me? Are you
It's
going
beyond his pay grade. Say it's beyond his
gonna
pay
mute me,
grade. Please, let's just get a debate. Let's just get to debate.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
please.
Alpha, come on. Alpha,
It's
it's all
beyond
good. It's all
it's
good.
beyond his pay grade. All right. So let's just get to the topic. All right, so Alpha. So listen. The Quran says that the imams cannot be disbelievers. So how do you override that and impose imams?
Show me the verse that says imams cannot be disbelievers.
Yes, 2:24. Let's put it in VC1 dash chat.
God willing.
Yeah. There you go. The secret what you got from saying they rejected Abraham. Recall that Abraham was put to the test by his Lord through certain commands, and he fulfilled them. God said, I am appointing you an imam for the people. He said, and also my descendants. He said, my covenant does not include the transgressor. So here God is telling Abraham that his descendants that are disbelievers cannot be imams. And ironically, it's the same word that's, the leader of the prayer, the imam of the masjid is imam. So God's saying disbelievers cannot be imams. So how can I override God and say, yep, I recognize this person as a disbeliever, and then I install them as an imam of my masjid?
Peace be upon you, Miss P. It's good to see you here as well. Yes, I pray as well that we can have a more fruitful discussion.
I'm happy you're here. Yeah, I'm happy you're here.
I was talking to Miss P, not you, obviously, but you always think everyone's involved.
Look, no, I wasn't
You're here
thinking
as well.
that. I
No,
was
you
just
don't have to say
thanking
that,
you.
Alpha.
Yeah, I was just thanking you for being here.
Everybody's been nice to you, Alpha. Honestly, just take it.
Nah. God says be harsh against the hypocrites. So that's what I do right now.
No, when they're fighting against you, you come to have a discussion. Just let's be.
But that's okay. You can be harsh. That's okay.
Yeah,
but we're just having.
I agree with.
It could be harsh. But okay, so how do you address what I just said? How do you override that verse and install disbelievers as imams?
Wait. Who said I want to override God's command? I didn't say that.
Well, if you say that disbelievers can and must be imams, then you're overriding what God told Abraham.
Why are you strawmanning my position before even me speaking?
Do you believe disbelievers? Okay, so let's
Interpret 2:23, Alpha.
Wait.
They never taught you debate ethics in law school or what?
Hold on a second. So do you believe disbelievers can be imams?
Wait. Why are you strawmanning my position before you speaking?
You accuse me of straw manning,
This
so
is
now I'm
crazy.
verifying.
This is crazy. You
You-
just said, how can you override this command of God as if this was my intention?
So let me correct.
You accuse me.
So now I'm trying to verify. Now I'm trying to verify.
Do you accuse me of wanting to override God's commands? Why?
Yes,
What are you
yes,
doing with
because you believe that you can install disbelievers as imams.
I
Verse
didn't
that you
even
can't.
say anything. We just started this discussion,
Well,
and you're straw
obviously,
manning me
you're
already.
in the
How
camp.
can I confront this discussion?
Okay, so let's
Okay, Alpha,
let's
make your
verify.
position.
Can you
Alpha,
stop
make your
interrupting
position.
me?
Let's
Alpha, no,
verify
I'm
your
trying
position.
to, I'm trying to help this, right? So you guys don't go in circles for no reason.
Abdullah, I
Just,
don't need
how
your
about,
help.
how about you make clear?
Am I-
No. I'm not. It's not for you, Alpha. It's not
He
for you, Alpha.
saw me in
Just.
my position, dude. Did you hear
Okay,
that?
Alpha. I promise.
Yeah,
I promise. Okay,
we
no,
can
no
just
more straw
forget
manning.
about
Okay, no more straw manning. Just how
No
about
more
this,
straw
bro?
manning. You heard
How
that?
about you make your
No
position
more.
clear?
No more.
Okay, gobbling. Alpha, please.
Right,
God
bro.
bless you, bro. Just
Right, I
how
hope
about we
so.
try to?
I
How
hope
about we
so.
just?
This is bad.
Yes.
This is
Alpha.
bad faith right there.
I know, Alpha. Just
Bad
please
faith
listen
right
to me,
there.
okay?
As
How
usual.
about you make your position clear? Look, how about you make your position clear, right? Rather than straw
Can you
manning,
stop?
we'll
You're being
steal man.
annoying at the moment. You're being
It's
annoying.
okay, Abdullah. Just let him say what he wants to say, and then we can continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let me make that very, very clear for you, Naveed. No one here, at least not me, is trying to override God's commands. Right? Because it's very simple. I will say this again, right? Because we go back to the same verses over and over again. I seek refuge in God from Satan, the rejected. Well, obviously, I don't have the right to have this command, but that's fine. 907. I'll find it, God willing. Give me a second. Three, 4, 5.
He just put it for you.
So nice of you. Thank you, Said. Seek refuge in God from Satan, the rejected. There are those who abuse the masjids, practicing idol worship, dividing the believers, and providing comfort to those who oppose God and His messenger. We solemnly swear our intentions are honor. Right? And then 908. Honest 917. This is doing it.
Yeah, but I didn't cite these. I cited 2:124. You're not. Look, yeah, like these are all great verses, but I just wanted to focus on the one we were working on.
Yeah, I'm not done, bro.
Oh, okay.
Done. "917 right there. I seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. The idol worshippers are not to frequent the masjids of God while confessing their disbelief. These have nullified their works. They abide forever in hell." So it's very clear right here that God forbids us from allowing even the disbelievers to come to this masjid, to come to the masjid. So from this point on, right,
Mhm.
I am not trying to override God's command, right?
Okay.
Because the command is very clear to me.
Can I respond to this? Okay. So I understand you're saying it sounds like theologically you're agreeing with us. You're saying, look, disbelievers, hypocrites, idol worshippers, they can't even frequent the masjid, let alone be imams. But the contradiction in your position is you've aligned yourself with people that don't hold that position. Like you're saying theologically, and I knew this from the beginning, by the way. I knew theologically you would align with us, but due to other factors, you found yourself in the wrong camp. The camp that
Okay,
says that.
can I respond to that? 'Cause
Well, hold on. Let me just finish my point.
You misrepresented my position.
Yeah. Let me just. I didn't
Yeah.
represent your
Yeah,
position.
you did. You did.
I didn't.
You said
I didn't.
disbelievers, hypocrites, and idol worshippers. I never said that.
Oh,
I
okay.
said the
Which
idol
ones of these?
worshippers.
Which one of these
Okay,
you believe can be installed as the imams?
let me clearly frame this because you're very good at this. Again, again misrepresentation, straw manning. When will you stop these nasty tactics, bro? When will you start being in a debate, being straightforward, just not reframing things however you like? I didn't ever say that. Right? Let me rephrase what I said. Right? I said the idol worshippers, just like the verse said, I didn't add anything to the verse. I seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. The idol worshippers are not to frequent the masjids of God while confessing their disbelief. Right? This is what I said. I did not say the hypocrites cannot frequent the masjids of God. I did not say that. Do you know why I didn't say this? I can show you verses why, in my position, hypocrites can frequent the masjid of God. And
So
I think you already know the verse. It's
yeah, but brother,
488
yeah, but
to
yeah,
91.
that verse,
You
those
want to
verses don't
post in
say.
the chat so I can
Yeah,
read them,
those
Gadboy?
yeah, those verses have nothing to do with masjid.
Can you please cite them in
Yeah,
the chat so I can
yeah,
read them,
yeah, no,
Gadboy?
no problem. Can we? Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
So the word masjid doesn't appear in these verses.
I will read the verses, Gadboy.
Go ahead, please.
Why should you divide yourselves into two groups regarding hypocrites among you? Is what just happened. God is the one who condemned them because of their own behavior. Do you want to guide those who are sent astray by God? Whomever God sends astray, you can never find a way to guide them. They wish that you disbelieve as they have disbelieved. Then you become equal. Do not consider them friends unless they mobilize with you in the cause of God. If they turn against you, you shall fight them, and you may kill them when you encounter them in war. You shall not accept
Mhm.
them as friends or allies. Exempted are those with whom you have signed a peace treaty, and those who come to you wishing not to fight you, nor fight their relatives. Had God will, He could have permitted them to fight against you. Therefore, if you leave you alone and refrain from fighting you and offer you peace, then God gives you no excuse to fight them. You will find others who wish to make peace with you and also their people. However, as soon as war erupts, they fight against you. Unless these people leave you alone and offer you peace and stop fighting you, you may fight them when you encounter them in the war. Against these,
Mhm.
we give you a clear authorization.
Mhm. So
Those are the
where
verses.
is there's no reference to masjid in there? Where did you get that from?
Oh, there's no reference to masjid, but there
Mhm.
is reference to
Mhm.
mobilizing in the cause of God, right? Do not
Right.
consider them friends in verse 89.
Mm.
Do not consider them friends unless they mobilize along with you in the cause of God.
Yeah. So you interpret that to mean that install them as your leaders?
I do not interpret that to be anything but first to infer that
Mhm.
they are authorized to enter the masjid.
There's no reference of
Whoever is
masjid
with
there.
me, can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing for me to speak during this debate. I appreciate you. So I use this to infer that if they want to mobilize with me during Juma in the cause of God, they can. Because hypocrites, right, like you said, they claim to believe. So their shahada will be the same as me.
Mm.
Their prayer, very much the same as me. And as long as they don't fight me, as long as they leave me alone and refrain from fighting me because of my religion and offer me peace, God gives me no excuse to fight them. So
Yeah,
unless
we're
they
not.
say the shahadateen
Mhm.
or they say Jesus is God or something like that, I cannot refuse them to enter the masjid. I have no grounds for that.
Mhm. Can I? Okay, so there's a few things here. Number one, the verse never says install the hypocrites as your imams. So it doesn't say that. So you're taking mobilize along with you to mean install them as your leaders. It doesn't say that. There's no reference to masjid anyway. And the fact that you're claiming uh, performing a prayer is mobilization in the first place is problematic. But completely separate
How
from that,
so? How so?
Rashad,
Do you have an argument against that?
yes,
Or is it just your
mobilization.
opinion?
No, no. Mobilization requires specific striving or
Oh
movement
yeah.
or
Can
some
you show a
kind
verse?
of yeah. It's just the root word of that word.
Okay, because I
Right?
can show you a verse that contradicts what you just said. So,
Go ahead,
do you
please,
have a verse
please.
that contradicts this point of view, or no? Or
Yeah,
is this
but
just your opinion?
my argument is not limited to this point, so it's a moot point. But the point is that Rashad says,
It's not a moot point. You're actually
well, Rashad says
you
hypocrites.
dispute the point of view. So, do you have
So
a
listen,
rebuttal or not? Or is it
yeah.
just your opinion? You just disagree
Well,
on the basis of nothing.
I gave you citations. You can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter.
Well,
But the
no,
point
you
is that
didn't actually. No, you
okay,
didn't.
but Rashad explains to us that
Where?
hypocrites are idol. Rashad explains to us that hypocrites are.
That's not the question.
Rashad,
Why are you avoiding the
wh-
question?
what am
You
I
understood
avoiding?
my question, right?
What am I avoiding?
I'm asking you,
Mhm.
can you provide a verse that proves that the Friday prayer is not a form of mobilization? Yes or no?
I'm saying even if it was, mobilizing
So you
doesn't mean
cannot.
installing them. Well, I don't. I mean, probably I can, but I just don't have it on
Okay,
hand
so
right
can
now.
you do it, please?
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
you disputed that. I would like for you to prove it.
I don't have a verse on hand for that
Oh,
very
okay.
specific
So
point.
you just disagree. That's fine. Okay,
Yeah,
please carry on.
but regardless, mobilizing along with me doesn't mean that we install them as the leaders of our community. I think that's the confusion. That's what's being misrepresented. Because
Good.
this is being represent this what's being represented is if someone's mobilizing with you, then you should install them as your leader. And that just doesn't make any sense. But the bigger point is that Rashad says that hypocrites are committing idol worship. So they're idol worshipers. So the hypocrites are already idol worshipers. So if the hypocrites are idol worshippers, as explained by the messenger, then they would fall under 917. And 917 says um, they cannot be frequenters of the masjid, they cannot be sustainers of the masjid, they cannot be maintainers of the masjid. An imam would be all three, right? An imam of a masjid would be a maintainer, sustainer, and frequenter of masjid. So the hypocrites would not qualify to be any of these, and therefore they'll be disqualified to be the leaders of the community. Simple as that.
Okay. So it's very simple. You cited Rashad. Let us cite Rashad. Let us cite our dear messenger, sent by God's grace to guide us to the right path. Let us cite
Abdullah
him.
put a verse up.
Uh,
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, Ben. Abdullah put a verse up. I think it's for Naveed. So I don't know if you want to read it. Sorry. Sorry, Alpha. I think
no
it's
problem.
related to what you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, Said gave
Sorry.
me that verse.
No problem. Thank you.
If you want to tie it in, go ahead. Is that an example for what he asked for?
Yeah,
Are
but
you okay?
what's
Can I read?
the mobilizing, right? What's the form of mobilizing? I guess you were saying. Yeah, form of mobilizing says a sick refugee God's forsake rejected. Better believers strive in the cause of God. You shall readily mobilize, light or heavy, and strive with your money and your lives in the cause of God. This is better for you if you only knew.
Okay. So, yeah, that's not at all what I've asked. But
No, no, it
It's
is.
not
It is
going
actually
to.
because
You asked
because
earlier.
you don't.
can I respond? Can I respond? Thank you.
So hold on. I
Abdullah,
just wanted to. I just want to address this point because you asked for a
This is
verse.
not
Hold on.
what
Hold on.
I was
Hey,
asking.
no. Actually, it
Please,
is. It is.
can
It
you stop?
actually.
Can you stop? Can you stop?
Can I
I'm
just?
answering Abdullah.
Alpha,
No,
you asked for a
I'm
verse though.
answering
You
Abdullah.
asked for a verse.
You asked for a verse.
I'm
Can I have a
I'm
chance to
answering
fulfill?
Abdullah. I'm answering Abdullah. I'm
All right,
answering
go ahead.
Abdullah.
After you, I'll just speak. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
So
Alpha.
Abdullah, this is not what I asked Navid. I asked Navid, he wasn't able to prove it to me, that the Friday prayer, according to him, is not a form of mobilization. So I asked him a verse to prove his
Yeah, I
point
get.
on
Okay,
this
so
regard. He was unable to prove me that the Friday prayer is a way
Okay, so
of
let me do it right now. Let me do it now.
mobilization. He's not
Let
a
me do it
moral
now.
mobilizer.
Let me do it now. Let me do it now. All right. So
Inshallah,
this verse,
inshallah.
yeah, God willing. So this verse actually addresses it because this verse proves that mobilization requires light or heavy, right? There's the two options for mobilization. You can either mobilize light or you can mobilize heavy. But Friday prayer doesn't apply to this. With Friday prayer, you cannot mobilize light and you cannot mobilize heavy for Friday prayer. So there's two forms of mobilization, light or heavy. But Friday prayer does not fall into neither of those. So therefore, Friday prayer is not a form of mobilization. Done. That's refuted. So that's really the end of it, right? The
That's
ways
such a
you
weak argument. That is
okay,
such a
so when you mobilize for Friday prayer, according to your definition, are you mobilizing light or heavy?
that is such a weak argument. I'm gonna prove it to you by citing the video of Rashad Khalifa. Let's see what he
Yeah,
says. Let's see
yeah.
what he says. Right?
Go ahead.
Principles of Friday prayer. Is that it? God
Yeah.
willing.
Go ahead.
But hey, I didn't expect you to have a real argument there. This is why I asked you because I knew you wouldn't have a real argument. Okay. From the channel submission archives that I think it used to be yours. It used to be. Sounds so good to my ears. Hmm.
Do you have a specific timestamp of the video, or
I'm just curious. Just before you play the video, is there any verse in the Quran that uses the word mobilize for the Friday prayer?
Let me find the document that I'm trying to find, God willing. As you see, I did not come prepared. Right? You challenged me, I answered.
While you're doing that, guys, I have another verse that disproves the Friday prayer being mobilizing. Here's a verse. I just put it in the chat. 9:122. As it says, when the believers mobilize, not all of them should do so. But Friday prayer is for
Oh,
everybody.
it actually proves my point. Look at that.
How does it prove your point?
Thank you, because you actually pointed out exactly what I wanted to argue.
So
God
the verse
bless
is
you.
saying not everyone should
Yeah,
the verse proves not
yes.
everyone should
Read it,
mobilize,
read
but
it, please.
everyone
Read it, please.
yeah, I was much time the reporters of religious education. When the believers mobilize, not all of them shall do so. So there you go. So then
No. Read it fully.
if not
Why are you
everyone
avoiding
yeah,
the rest? Read it fully.
a few from each group shall mobilize by devoting their time to studying their religion. Thus they can pass the knowledge on to their people when they return, that they may remain rigorously informed. So
Do you have a point? Or should I just go
yeah,
right there
yeah,
for the
no.
jugular?
For so the mobilization in this verse is not for
No,
everybody,
no,
right?
no. Look. I'm just going straight for the jugular. I'm going to start, God willing, share my screen, and we're going to watch the beginning of
Go for it.
Principle of Friday prayer.
Go
Do you
for it.
want to
Go
do
for it.
this, please?
Yeah, sure. Go
Thank you.
ahead.
God
I
bless you.
already gave you verified role, so you
Right
can
there.
do it if you want. But
So here we go, guys. I will attempt to show you that Rashad will explain to you what the function of Friday prayer is. And based on this verse, I will then prove to you by God's grace, Navid provided me with the argument to actually disprove him. Okay, here you go. You guys listening? Here you go.
yeah, we're here. We're here. We're listening.
Praise God. I asked you for support, and he did provide support.
Can you just give us the timestamp? We don't want to watch the whole video, an hour long.
It's just at the beginning. Be patient, please. Don't worry. It's 1 minute, 2 minutes. We'll be done. I hope you're recording this, huh? It'll be such a shame. Let me just go to the YouTube video right now. It's quicker.
Can you just, give the minute?
One or 2 minutes. That's mobilizing, by the way.
I just have a question for you. Do you have Rashad using the word mobilize for Friday prayer? Or no?
Listen, listen. Listen. Oh, education, religious education. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I don't hear mobilize.
Yeah, I didn't hear the word. So does the word mobilize here?
It's not done. It's not done. Listen, listen, listen. So you see, now I'm going to reread the verse and I'm going to explain to you right there from the messenger's mouth what I meant by this. I seek refuge in God from Satan and rejected. When the believers mobilize, not all of them shall do so. A few of them shall mobilize by devoting their time to studying their religion, which the messenger explained is a function of the Friday prayer. Thus, they can pass on the knowledge onto their people when they return, that they may remain religiously informed, which is exactly what the messenger said. This is exactly how you prove that congregation Friday prayer is a mobilization in the cause of God.
Okay,
Thank you.
Alpha, I have a question. I have a question for you. Is it possible to do Jummah prayer by yourself?
Brother, how is that relevant to what I just
Just answer the question, bro.
presented
Just
to
answer
you?
the question, bro. It's not hard. Can we do Friday Jummah on our own as individuals?
Listen, I do not know the answer to that, but if I did, I would
Come on.
probably do my Juma prayer.
Wait, what? Wait,
Can I
what do you
can I
mean?
answer?
What do you
Can I
mean I don't
answer?
know the
Can
answer
I
to that? Come on,
answer?
come on.
Can I answer? Look, unlike you,
already
when
did.
I don't know something, I'm not gonna try to assume things and
said
make
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
You already
That's the
answered.
thing,
You
though.
said,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That was your answer. His answer is I
exactly.
don't
You
know.
said
That's
you
my
don't know.
answer.
Okay,
Can I
okay, yeah,
finish?
you don't know. So,
Can I
so,
finish?
so the way it works is Jummah prayer
Can I
is
finish?
congregational prayer, meaning
Can I finish or no?
what? Yeah, answer. You've answered your question, Alpha. You've answered the
Can I
question.
finish? Yeah,
You fin- you
that was
fin-
sufficient for you, but not for me. Can I finish or not?
Go, of course you can. Go ahead, Alpha.
Thank you, Abdullah. Okay. So, like I told you, right? I do 4 rakats alone every time, every Friday, because I don't have no one to do Jum'ah with.
Mhm.
But if you have evidence that I can do my Jum'ah alone, then I would do 2, and I would be glad that God has provided me with my jinn to do Jum'ah with, maybe, or something like that. But you can't do it alone,
Yeah,
obviously,
Rashad
right?
says you can't do it alone. So
Yeah, Vishad says you
hold
can't.
on.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was waiting for you to just say yes or no, or I don't know
Yeah,
is
I mean,
fine as well.
this whole I
Vishad
don't
says
know
you
is
can't do
weird.
it. He says you have to do
Rashad says,
you have to just do your Dhuhr prayer, right? You got to do your 4 rakat noon prayer instead, right?
mhm,
Because you're not able to do it. The word itself, Jum'ah, means congregation, right?
mhm.
The day Jum'ah Friday comes from the word congregation. And you need to have one more person with you. Now, if so, which is why the reason why I asked you this, you said this, it's irrelevant, but it actually is very relevant to the discussion right now. Chapter 4, verse 71, I seek refuge in God says, "O you who believe, you shall remain alert and mobilize as individuals or mobilize altogether." Right. So Jummah prayer is not a form of mobilizing. That's it. It's done.
My
Jumu'ah
understanding
prayer is
is
not considered
mobilization
mobilizing.
is a form of mobilization is a form of preparation, right? That's what
Yeah,
mobilization is.
Okay, so that's your understanding. That's not a fact. But Abdullah
Well,
presented it as a fact.
that's
Yeah, I'm
consistent.
not done.
That's
I'm not
consistent
done
with the
again.
Quran.
I'm not done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? This is a debate. Right? I'm speaking with
You,
you.
you, you spoke. You spoke over
and
Navid. You spoke over
so
Navid just
one or
now.
the other.
But
Yeah, but
go ahead.
I'm answering you right now.
No, of
Okay.
course. But Navid had a comment,
Yeah.
and you
Praise
spoke,
God.
spoke
Praise
over him.
God. Okay. Seek refuge in God from Satan and rejected. All you who believe, you shall remain alert and mobilize as individuals or mobilize all together. Okay. Mobilize as individuals. You can mobilize as individuals, right? But you cannot do it with the Friday prayer. But this does not disprove what the messenger said, which is that you can mobilize to devote your time studying the religion in a group so that they can pass the knowledge on to their people as they remain. I mean, did you not hear what the messenger said, or are you just trying to ignore it because it doesn't fit your argument? Which
I
one is
didn't hear the word mobilize. I didn't hear the word mobilize when it
no,
came
no, no, no,
to
no.
studying
Oh,
religion
okay. So it's
tomorrow.
a matter of semantics, right?
No,
Because
no. So no. It's not
when
semantics.
the
It's not
messenger
semantics.
said,
You misquoted the messenger.
right? When the
So if
messenger said,
Alpha, I wasn't
you
done with
shall,
my point too. Yeah, you finished talking, and I was going to respond to you. And then the
I
moment I
wasn't done
started
with my
talking,
point. You
you
were
would.
the one who,
I
you're the
didn't
one who
cut you
cut
off,
me
bro.
off.
You were finished.
You were the one
No,
who
no.
cut
You
me
were
off.
finished your point.
No,
Did
no,
you
I
guys
didn't
hear that?
finish.
Did
I
anyone
didn't
else hear
finish.
that? He finished his
I
point,
didn't
and I
finish.
was responding to you.
I didn't finish.
No worries, Alpha.
Can
Go
you
ahead,
can
Alpha.
you let
Go
me
ahead.
finish or
Go
not?
ahead, Alpha. Go ahead.
Wow. I really appreciate how gracious you are to me, Abdullah. This is really great.
Honestly, I don't appreciate
Alhamdulillah. God bless you, Abdullah. God bless you.
uncordial you're being right now. I don't
Yes, God
appreciate
bless
your
you.
etiquette,
God
lack
bless
of
you.
etiquette.
So I'm gonna read it again. Okay, the verse. I seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. When the believers mobilize, not all of them shall do so. A few of each group shall mobilize by devoting their time to studying the religion. Thus, they can pass their knowledge on to their people while they return, that they may remain religiously informed. The messenger said that the function of the contact prayer on Friday is that the believers come together, right? I'm sorry, but mobilization is coming together. But not necessarily, as you proved, right? This is just my opinion. You've proved that you can also mobilize as individuals, and that's okay. But the messenger clearly said that one of the functions is for believers to hear sermon, right? And to discuss the religion that they may remain religiously informed. So that's done, it's done.
Yeah. Okay. So now that you're finished, you are finished, right? I don't want to get cut off again because I cut you off. Apparently, you're finished, Alpha. Okay. You muted yourself. So yeah. Look, the word clearly the word mobilizing is not talking. It's obviously not limited to being as group. It's obviously you can even do it as an individual. The 8 times that the word mobilizing is mentioned in the Quran, right? Every single time it's used as a way for preparations of war. Okay, um, it's whether it's preparations of war regarding an actual physical war or like the messenger says, an ideological war as well. Hence why mobilizing would be, for instance, us sitting here trying to gather up our resources, our arguments. This would be considered mobilizing. Whether we're gathering resources, whether we're preparing, this is also mobilizing. But Jummah prayer is never used as a form of mobilizing ever throughout the whole Quran. So I'm sure that I don't think that this point is going to hold any merit in this debate right now because from if we're arguing with the actual definition of mobilizing, right? We can look into that too. But I think that more so what the problem would be is how do we take mobilizing as Jummah prayer and then jump that all the way to the extreme as saying now disbelievers can lead the Jummah prayer and give sermons. I'm done, Alpha.
Well, you strawman me again because, like I told you at the very beginning, it's getting exhausted to be strawman every time, right? I cited the verse 917, right? The idol worshippers not to frequent God's masjid as they profess their disbelief. It's very simple. They cannot enter God's masjid. You profess disbelief, right? You profess that you believe in other idols. You profess the Shahadateen. You profess Jesus is God. You profess anything, right? That is not La ilaha illallah.
What if you
You
reject the
will not
messenger's
allow.
teaching?
Can I finish?
Yeah, I'm
I
just.
was gonna
I'm
done
questioning.
one sentence. I was gonna finish one sentence. You
Go
can't
ahead.
even
Give your
let me.
sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
give
Go
us
That's
ahead. Let me
crazy,
see it,
bro.
please.
You
Go,
really
go,
need to
go.
learn
Go
debate
ahead, Alpha.
ethics, bro. You really do. God damn. In one sentence, and you had to cut me
Astaghfirullah.
off. That's crazy.
Just be careful saying goddamn. It's not. It's very
Just
blasphemous.
let him
Gonna cut
finish
me
it.
off.
He said he has one sentence.
You're
Let's
gonna
let him
cut me.
finish the
Go
sentence.
ahead.
I have
I'm
a
gonna.
follow-up question on that.
That's okay. I'm gonna mute until you guys are done. Okay.
No, we're done. We're
Okay,
done. Go ahead, Alpha.
so yeah, my question was, damn, what was my question?
Yeah, you know what about
Oh
if you put your
yeah.
opinion above the God
So
above God's
yeah,
message?
if you reject the messenger's teaching and God tells us you're a disbeliever if you do that, are you qualified to enter the masjid?
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, the messenger says pork is prohibited. You say no, it's not.
The Quran says this one.
Yeah, but
If you reject what the Quran explicitly says numerous times, at this point, are you
well,
believe?
all
Insurance.
right,
Insurance.
you're right.
Yeah.
Insurance. Yeah, if you reject insurance is prohibited, then what?
Well, I am not knowledgeable in insurance, but I know that there are people who might have different opinions, such as insurance is indeed prohibited, except maybe certain forms of insurances. This is what I heard, right? Now, I don't know about other people's opinion on reject insurance, but if you say no form of insurance is prohibited, then I would definitely say you're a disbeliever because the messenger clearly said that, right? Okay.
Okay, so you agree a masjid founded on this basis would be a disbeliever masjid, correct?
I mean, wait a minute. So when you're establishing a masjid,
Yeah.
you establish on the basis of the rejection of insurance, not
Yes.
the
Correct.
worship of God.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
have a real life example.
Can you read the image I put in the chat? It's just a small page. Can you read that for us? Go ahead.
No, read it yourself. Yeah,
No,
you read it.
I mean I preferred you to
I
read
can
it.
read it.
I
can read it.
prefer,
Okay.
yeah. Abdullah, go ahead.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Abdul.
in regards to insurance, which you claim the messenger of the covenant has prohibited, how can you substantiate such a statement with the verses of the Quran in Appendix 18? Yep, which is written by the messenger himself. Did God run out of words to guide us in this matter, or is it because there was no insurance during the time of the Prophet Muhammad that God did not mention this in the Quran? I don't think so. Through verses of the Quran, we learn of the splitting of the moon, the invention of the computer, signs of the end of the world, and even the year the world will end. Rashad Khalifa used the verses of the Quran to proclaim the above information. How did he forget to mention the insurance issue? Furthermore, if prohibiting insurance was among his principal duties, why did he not write an appendix for this matter so all of those who refer to his authorized translations can obtain this information? Or did he want only those who have access to his tapes or to get his credit and all others to commit sin in the matter? Do you want to complete the duties of God's messenger of the covenant? Is it possible that after the tape in which he mentioned this issue, the messenger of the covenant corrected this statement? Do we have a video audio tape of his entire life to be able to prove such a thing? Is he alive so we can ask him about this issue? Finally, how did the messenger of the covenant allow himself to prohibit what God did not prohibit in the Quran? Wow. This is a gross accusation you are making against the messenger of the covenant. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So based on these statements, they're rejecting God's law, and they would qualify under confessed disbelievers, right? And you would agree a masjid founded by such people would be masjid of Satan, correct?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to not focus on who founded this masjid. To me, this is irrelevant, okay?
Okay, let's just go with that. The current belief is this. Now what?
So if the current belief is such a person, right? This is the current belief of the person, correct? How long was this document printed ago? How long ago?
This has been their position for 20 years.
No, I'm asking you, when did this document come up?
This specific
20 years
document is
ago.
from 2003. February 2003, this document came out. And they hold the
So
same position.
we're
They're going
today
strong.
on the 1st
Mhm.
of June 2025, and this is still relevant. Anyway, this okay.
Yeah,
No,
because if they hold
because he made the
if they
point
hold
about
the same
Let's
that.
position,
assume Yeah.
If they hold the
Let
same
us say
position, then it's
in
done, right?
20 yeah. Can I finish?
You asked the question.
So let us say in 2003, such a person, right, was disputing this. They would fall under the category of a hypocrite, not a disbeliever. A hypocrite
Well,
is
no, it
the.
would be
A hypocrite is a
finish?
disbeliever.
Can I
actually,
finish? Can I finish?
A hypocrite is a disbeliever, Alpha. Come on.
I'm tired. I'm tired of having to
yeah, but
say
let him.
every
Don't let
time.
him. Don't give him any
Every
excuses,
time.
Abdullah. Abdullah, don't give him any
Every time.
excuses. Go ahead.
Can you be
Go ahead.
done? Can you be done with your nonsense right now? I'm tired of having to all the time. I mean to ask you to just listen and not interrupt me. I'm tired of doing that. I'm tired of doing that. Right? So, like the last time, I'm gonna give you a last warning, Navid. Right? You or Abdullah interrupt me one more time. You know the drill. I'm out of here. Right? This discussion has been a success for me so far. I don't need to go deeper than that. And you know it. So I'll give you a warning. You violated, I'm gone. And this discussion is over. And then you can go back to wherever you were doing. God willing. Okay? So, hello, Jack. What's up, bro? So, peace be upon everyone that joined. We are discussing a document that Navid put in the VC1 chat from February 2003, I suppose, I think. Okay, so this person was disputing that the messenger prohibited insurance. That is indeed problematic because I have heard the audio from the messenger that contradicts such a statement. But it gets me thinking about the fact that I, in the age of the internet where everything is wildly available, right? That to me it's very easy to access such a tape. Now, I am not at all saying that this person has a part, but I can't help but think that uh, I cannot be so quick to judge someone for saying not everyone can have the same information. Although the statement of such a person is clearly hypocritical, because once you hear the messenger say something, well, you hear and obey. So this person is indeed a hypocrite. But as you know, right, there is no verse that ever says the hypocrites, while they confess their disbelief, are not to frequent God's masjid. Now, I am waiting for you guys to show me where the messenger says that idol worshiper, that hypocrites are idol worshippers, because I believe it's the opposite. Just like chapter 63, verse 1, right? It says that the hypocrites, they say, you are the messenger of God, right? Which is just a hadathin. So, yeah.
Hey, Alpha, are you
As
gonna
I
let us speak,
understand
or are
it,
you just
I'm
running a
not done.
podcast here? You're
I'm
you're
not
just
done.
running a podcast. You're not letting anybody
Can I,
else speak.
can you
Can you give us a chance to speak, or what?
let me finish first?
Yeah.
Is
How
that
long is your
possible?
speech? Yeah. How long is your speech? 'Cause you've been
However
talking.
long I have to speak, and it's not going to be that long. Don't worry. Okay. So, from my understanding, the hypocrites are the ones, first of all, right? In the Quran, it tells us the hypocrites are the idol worshippers, but not only. They're not the only hypocrites. This is for sure. There are other hypocrites who swear in the name of God, they make false statements. They claim to believe and they claim everything they do is righteous. They don't perceive their wickedness and many things like this. And for those who are interested, a certain individual in the name of Hadith Critic has put a video, well, that's the wrong link, about the subject. Anyone is interested, you can just check that out. God willing. That's all I have to say. Here, I'm done.
Yeah. So we don't allow slander on this server, so we're not gonna have that. But thanks. Um. Okay. So the messenger tells us in 973 and 974 and the subtitle that the hypocrites are disbelievers. We don't have any doubt about that. The verse itself says it, the subtitle says it. Hypocrites are disbelievers. And so, um, but you're diverting from the issue. The point is that This document is not even hypocrite at this point. It's just confessed disbeliever. Because if the messenger gives a ruling on an issue and you reject that ruling, you're not a believer anymore. 465. I seek refuge God from sin and rejected. Never indeed by your Lord. They are not believers. Unless they come to you to judge in their disputes, then find no hesitation in their hearts whatsoever in accepting your judgment. They must submit a total submission. So that's it. So it doesn't matter if it's online or not online. The cassettes are there. I was there. There was 5 clear audios that Rashad says insurance is prohibited or from Satan. It was played to them multiple times, and they said we don't care. So as far as God is concerned, they're not believers, and God's swearing on it, right? So they're disbelievers. To confess disbelievers, and according to 9:17, such people cannot be maintainers, sustainers, or frequenters of the masjid, to disqualified from giving sermons. That's the end of it. It's really simple. There's not really, I mean, I don't know, Abdullah, anyone else? Is there Yara? Anyone? Does anyone else see a way out of this? I just don't see a way out of this. Like that's the
I
end of
do.
it. Yeah,
I
go
do.
ahead. Give me the weasel way out of this.
I said I thought you didn't accept a slander here. Am I
Yeah, what was
correct,
the
or
slander?
are
What
you
was the
gonna accuse
slander?
me?
What was the slander?
You said I was gonna weasel my way out of this. You
No,
don't think
yeah, I
it's
said
slander?
no, I said what is the
See,
weasel
this is
way?
not slander because I have proof in that video. But what you just said is,
Okay, so now
call me
you
a
just
weasel. You just called me a weasel.
I didn't call you a weasel. I said
Did you
what
not?
is
No.
no, I didn't. I said what is the weasel way out of this?
Okay, so you say that I use weasel way as out of this. Is
No,
it basically saying I'm a
I didn't
weasel?
even make it about you. I didn't
Yeah,
say anything.
yeah. It's rhetoric. It's just rhetoric, but it's the same thing. You call me a
Okay.
weasel, right?
No, I didn't
Can you
call you a
rephrase your
weasel.
statement? Can you
No.
apologize or not?
No, because you misunderstood. You
Alpha,
But
misheard me.
let everyone witness that you called me a weasel in
I
that
didn't call you a
video. It's
weasel.
Alpha,
slander,
Alpha,
apparently.
can I just
No.
say
I
something?
said what is the weasel
So
way out of
no,
this?
please don't defend him. This is my opinion, right? I can just voice it out. You disagree, that's fine. You keep it to yourself. I'm gonna read the
Can I say
chapter
something?
63, verse 3, God willing. I seek
Go ahead,
refuge in
Misty.
God from Satan the rejected. This is because they believed, then disbelieved. This is chapter 63, Al-Munafiqun, the hypocrites. Hence, their minds are blocked. They do not understand. So, first of all, no, it doesn't make you an outright disbeliever, like an atheist is a disbeliever. It simply makes you a hypocrite. It doesn't mean you don't stop praying. It just means your deeds are nullified, right? This is what it means. Just like the idol worship, same thing. But they have
So,
believed, then disbelieved.
Alpha, are we allowed to marry atheists according to you?
Can you stick to the topic?
It is the topic. I promise you it's the topic.
It is
Are we
not the
allowed?
topic.
Yeah, it is. It is. Don't worry. Are we allowed to marry
No, no, no,
atheists?
no, 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 no. It is not the topic.
No.
Get back to the topic, please.
Yeah. Are we allowed? The question is, are we allowed to marry atheists? The answer is no, we can't. Why? Because they're idol worshippers. Well, how do you know that? 2221 says, "Do not marry."
They're not idol worshippers, they're disbelievers.
Okay, so we're allowed to marry atheists.
God says the only ones you're allowed to marry are the believers and the
Where does it say
chaste
that?
among. Can I
It doesn't
say?
say. Yeah, it doesn't
Can I
say that.
say?
Yeah, go
I'm gonna
show me the
find the
verse.
verse of the Quran. Until then, I expect you to please not interrupt me.
I'm saving you time. There is
Hey,
no such verse.
last warning, right? This is 2 more warnings I gave you out of my grace. No more.
Yeah, so I'm saving you time. There is no such verse.
Chapter 5. I'm
Mhm.
coming with the verse. You please sit down and let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I put the verse for you in the chat. Do you want me to read it for you?
If you have put the verse, I will read it, God willing. I seek refuge in
Go
God
ahead.
from sin rejected. Thank you, by the way. Today, all good food is made lawful for you. The food of the people of the scripture is lawful for you. You may marry the chaste among the believers and the chaste among the followers of previous scripture, i.e., Jewish women and Christian women. Okay? Provided you pay them their due dowries. You shall maintain chastity, not committing adultery, nor taking secret lovers. Anyone who rejects faith, all his work is in vain, and in the hereafter he will be with the loser.
Yeah, so the word only doesn't appear here. So if God says you may do something, that doesn't mean that's the only thing you're allowed to do. So for example, if God says you may eat fish of the sea, that doesn't mean I can only eat fish of the sea. Right? So you claim that the word only is used. I said no, the word only is not used. And I said, let me save you time. Nowhere in the Quran is the word only used for marriage. Right? So this verse doesn't help because it says you may marry these people and you may marry these people, but it doesn't say you can only marry these people. But 2:21 resolves this because 2:21 says you cannot marry idol worshippers. So if we don't accept atheists as idol worshippers, then we can marry them. But if we accept that atheists are idol worshippers, then we're prohibited from marrying atheists. You see? So same thing goes with hypocrites. If we don't accept hypocrites as idol worshippers, then we can marry them. But if we accept that hypocrites are idol worshippers, as Rashad explains to us that they worship their ego, they're idol worshippers, then we cannot marry them. And if they are idol worshippers, then they fall under 917. And if they fall under 917, they cannot be sustainers, maintainers, or frequenters of the masjids. Therefore, they cannot give sermons. Done. This is coherent, consistent logic.
No, this is not coherent nor consistent. This
What's
is just
incoherent
broken
about it?
logic.
Go ahead. Tell me what's incoherent about it.
Yeah, this is completely incoherent because
What's
you're telling me now.
incoherent about it?
Can you allow me or not?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Wallahi, next time you do this, I'm gone. Like a little something, I'm gone. I'm already done with this argument, right? You know this. So don't give me a reason, you know? Like really, like I've been asking you for multiple times now. Can't just do that, you know? Okay. So this is not coherent because you're telling me now that God is using different words to mean one broad category and he doesn't make specifications, right? God is not specific with his words. Now you're saying. Are you saying that an idol worshiper is a hypocrite and he's a disbeliever and all of those are basically talking about one group of people with no distinction. It's just God is changing the words however he likes, but it doesn't mean anything, right? And if the words don't mean anything, then like how am I even gonna read the Quran? Like any word can mean anything now, right? Okay, so idol worshippers are hypocrites. But not all hypocrites are idol worshippers because not all hypocrites, well, they do have idol worship in them because they worship other than the messenger. That's clear. And every disbeliever as well, every atheist believe that his opinion, right, is above whatever is in God's revelations. That is clear. But when God talks about disbelievers who disbelieve in the day of judgment, right, he's not talking about the same disbelievers, those who have believed and disbelieved, right? They're among you or they're fighting against you and they pretend to believe. Those are another kind that they call hypocrites. Then there's those who profess their idol worship by claiming Jesus is God or Muhammad is the messenger of God, right? They're called hypocrites because God says they're liars and hypocrites. But they're a very specific type. They're idol worshippers. They claim to believe and to represent the religion. They don't. And they repel people from the religion as well, just like every hypocrite do. But they're very specific in the aspect that they claim the religion includes idol worship in them. This is to them the correct religion. This is not the same as someone who will claim, I believe in God alone and is a Quranist, or I believe in God alone. And just like you cited the example of this dude from 2003 who said in 2003 that he didn't believe the messenger prohibited insurance. Right? That is not a broad, he does not belong in the broad category of disbeliever, idol worshiper, hypocrite. He's a very specific type of hypocrite, yeah. And he's one that believes that he's on the right path, just like everyone, right? He believes in God alone, as he claims, right? It's not the same as someone who believes Jesus is God. That's my argument to you.
Okay, so Rashad says in the audio that the hypocrites worship their own ego, so they're by default they're idol worshippers, as well as the hypocrites have believed and then disbelieved, like you said that yourself,
Yeah. So they're
meaning they automatically
disbelievers.
become disbelievers as well.
Yeah, so they're
correct.
yeah, so that's my point. They're hypocrites because they're hypocrites. They're idol worshippers because they worship themselves, and they're disbelievers because they no longer believe. So all are substantiated. 2221 says, "Do not marry the idol worshippers." Unless we include atheists and hypocrites with idol worshippers, then we're allowed to marry them. I don't believe we're allowed to marry atheists. 5:5 doesn't say the only people you can marry are believers and people of the scripture. It just says you may marry them, right? Just like it says you may eat fish. But what if I don't want to eat fish? Do I have to eat fish? No. So just because you may do something doesn't mean that's the only thing you're allowed to do. But 2221 closes the loop. 2221 says, do not marry idol worshippers. Now, an atheist worships himself, idol worshiper, right? A hypocrite worships themselves, like Rashad says, idol worshiper. So now they are confessed disbelievers and they are idol worshippers. And therefore they fall under 917. They cannot frequent the masjid. They cannot be an imam of the masjid. They cannot be a sustainer of the masjid. They cannot be a maintainer of the masjid. Therefore, such people are disqualified from giving sermons or leading prayers of the believers. Done.
Okay, so I'm gonna say to
And I mean, I think you agree with me that if someone puts their opinion above the messenger, they're not believers, they're idol worshippers, they're hypocrites, they're everything, they're enemies of God. They just fulfilled all their categories. They're compromisers
Well, they're disbelievers. Yeah, disbelievers
and they're
is the minimum.
disbelievers.
Yeah, exactly. Let's
So
say the
now,
minimum is disbeliever.
yeah, so now I'm looking at such a person and I'm saying, okay, the guys, does this person qualify to lead our prayers or lead the community? No,
917.
they don't.
can I
917.
make my argument now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And Miss B, we have different opinions. That's fine, but your group decided to divide over it because they claimed I am a hypocrite. So
Sorry?
How are we
that's
divided?
you.
You're here. Wait,
Can
wait,
I
how?
can I finish? Can I finish?
Can I hear what Alpha has to say?
Hey,
Say
one
that,
last warning, Navid. Hey, I proved it to you. I'm not running away, right? If I go, it will be because I don't like the fact that you believe you can talk over me, not because I'm afraid of
Alpha,
you. Because I'm gonna make my argument.
Alpha, can you just finish what
Okay.
you were saying, please?
Miss B, I don't want to listen to you right now. But I appreciate the fact that you
You said
express
my
your
name.
opinion. You're
You
free
said
to.
my
You're
name.
absolutely free
You
to.
said my name.
I'm gonna read the Quran now, Miss B. I can't even hear.
Brother, your attitude
Seek
stinks.
refuge in God
It's
from
really
faith and
stinks.
rejected.
God bless you. You got
Your
verse.
women
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
are
on. Let him
bearers
finish. Let him
of
finish.
your
It's fine. He's a
seed.
guest. Let him do his thing.
Thus, you may enjoy this privilege however you like. Very rude of you to interrupt the Quran, by the way. So long as you maintain righteousness. Thus, you may enjoy this privilege however you like. So, does this mean that the women are only bearers of your seed? But if you don't, because let's say you're asexual, let's say you're not the type of person who is, into sexual relations. You're not into that, right? This is not you're not into that. Can you marry someone and then say, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to have sex with you because, I'm not interested in that type of stuff? Because God says you may enjoy the privilege
Yeah,
of
there's
marriage,
no. Yeah, they're
which
right.
includes
There's
that, right?
correct. Can I answer the question you just asked me? Yeah. So there is no requirement by God to have a certain level of sex. That's the whole point,
Okay,
right?
can I now make the next part of my argument before you interrupt me again?
I didn't interrupt you. You asked me a question. I answered.
I'm gonna make my point again. Then I'm going to leave because I told you again already, right? So here it is. God said, "Do not lean onto one right." Okay, it's neither enjoying marriage. I'm going to find you the verse and cite it to you, God willing. Neither enjoying marriage. Yes, it's 4:129. Seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. You can never be equitable in dealing with more than one wife, no matter how hard you try. Therefore, do not be so biased as to leave one of them hanging. Do not leave one of them hanging, neither enjoying marriage nor left to marry someone else. If you correct the situation and maintain righteousness, God is forgiver and most merciful. So here, my point regarding marrying, whomever, you say 5:5 does not say, it says you may marry those people. It doesn't say you shall only marry those people. My point is that from the verse I cited to you, 2:23, which is just next to the verses you cited, right? Says you may enjoy the privilege of marriage, right? But it also says in 4:129, do not leave one of the wives hanging, because abandoning your wives in your bed, which is, by the way, right, in the same chapter, I think it's chapter 4, verse 34, I may be wrong. Yes, exactly it, right? Abandoning, deserting them in bed is, how do you say, a negative incentive. It is not a good thing. But since God says you may enjoy the privilege of marriage, right? God doesn't force you to have sex with your wife, right? He doesn't force you. He doesn't force you to be intimate with her, to love her, and all these things. But I think it is quite a requirement that God does not have to cite because it's clear. Now, I will be on my way. Thank you for having this very civil discussion, y'all. And peace be upon you. Thank you. Take care.
What just happened?
You got cooked. You guys got your answer, Jacoby. That's why these guys don't want to come debate us, right? Because you get cooked on this topic. There is no actual argument from the other side, right?
Can I just clarify one thing? Hold on. So the whole letter that you read there is highlighting that they think insurance is not prohibited. Was his position that he didn't know insurance is prohibited, or did he know that insurance is prohibited? I'm talking about Alpha.
I don't know, brother. Alpha's gone already.
So, because that argument didn't kind of like sink in, and it would have been helpful if that did sink in. Because he's saying they're not disqualified or they're not disbelievers because they didn't put Jesus or Muhammad or whatever, right? Their minimum entry is the Shahada. There's no God but God. If you say that and you pray the way that I prayed, you're good, right? But then we know the final audio, Rashad says, if you put your opinion above the messenger, above the opinion of the messenger, then all of your works are nullified. So my opinion is insurance is not prohibited. Rashad's opinion is that insurance is prohibited. If I think I'm right, all my works are nullified. Is that right?
Oh, correct. And that by default makes you a disbeliever. For your works to be nullified, which by default means that you are going to hell, basically. You would have to be at minimum a disbeliever for all your works to be nullified.
Okay.
I didn't learn anything. He's got such a bad
And
attitude.
he wouldn't even
It's
let
too
you talk.
smug.
Can you tell us what you wanted to say? Go ahead. He wouldn't let us talk.